Am I the a-hole? There's tons of these on Reddit, and there's plenty more getting uploaded every day, and I'm scouring them because I want to find the very best just for you. For those of you that don't know, this is a thread over on Reddit where people upload their story and the community gives feedback on whether they're not the asshole or the asshole, and sometimes the stories are pretty good. Our first story is brought to you by Professional Firefly. Am I the a-hole for leaving the room because my boyfriend and my best friend were speaking in a different language? I work with a lot of people that speak different languages, but I guess it's a little bit different in the context of your significant other. My 20 and best friend, also 20, came to visit me at college after a few weeks since we hadn't seen each other in a while. She had made plans for us to meet up and go out after classes, and I was looking forward to it. I even told my boyfriend, 21, in advance that I'd be hanging out with her, and he was cool with it too. Both of them come from a place where they have a common language. When she arrived, she met me and my boyfriend in the corridor and immediately mentioned how we'd be late if we didn't leave right away. I was ready to go then and there, but instead she started talking to my boyfriend in their native language, which I don't understand. I had no idea what they were talking about, though I did hear my name come up in their conversation. They didn't make any effort to include me or check if I was comfortable with them speaking a language I couldn't follow. I even made a lighthearted comment saying, "Guys, I really need the subtitles right now," but they ignored me and kept talking. I just stood there awkwardly for about 15 minutes while they chatted. Even though she had initially said we needed to leave quickly, I started feeling frustrated and unwelcome, so I left the area without a word and stepped outside the building to give them their space. Later, they picked up on my upset mood and started tiptoeing around me. I couldn't enjoy hanging out with my best friend later at all. I was upset because it felt like I wasn't needed there, and they didn't seem to care about including me. But now I'm wondering if I made a big deal about an insignificant issue. Am I the a-hole? I have a tendency to read the comments before I give my feedback. I'm gonna really try to give my feedback on this before I read comments, because you know, that's what we're here for, right? Because we need my advice. It's the most important shit you're gonna get.
Wrong.
Initially, I wouldn't think this is a big deal, but I do find it a little odd that you made the joke and they completely ignored it. I'm not saying it was a funny joke, but they could have at least acknowledged your presence there. I don't think there's anything wrong with people speaking in their native tongues in really any situation, but in the context of it's your best friend and your boyfriend now communicating, and they're completely leaving it out. I don't know what else went on that day. If you guys have had any recent arguments or anything like that that could add, you know, a little bit of information to this, might clear up some things. I don't think you're the a-hole. Depending on how you kind of go around this situation later, might change that. But what do I know? By Rach Slicksy. She's a participant. Not the asshole. They were rude when present in a group. You speak the language everyone understands. This isn't the same as someone in my vicinity who had nothing to do with me speaking another language and I couldn't eavesdrop. You were a group and they intentionally excluded you even after you made them aware. Of course you're gonna react. I agree with that. Just because of who they are, in this situation, you being uncomfortable is justified. How you react with being uncomfortable and you present that information to them, if you're gonna bring it up, might change that answer, but currently you're good. Total agree. Rude much is definitely not a polite thing to do. I would give them a long rope for months. BF and best friend. I don't agree with this. You need to communicate your feelings. Giving a long rope, that just sounds like something petty. If you're gonna play the distance card and be at arm's length, that's what unless long rope is something different, that's what I'm reading it as. You're gonna keep them at arm's length and be petty about it, which is not beneficial to anyone's relationship, whether it's your best friend or boyfriend. Dogs reading books, not the asshole. I understand that it can be easy to start talking in their native tongue. I've been there myself in that situation, but it's important to remember when there are other people there who doesn't know the language, then they should stop and speak so everyone can understand, especially after you let them know. Not the asshole. They blatantly ignored you. Speaking in another language in itself is a bit rude considering you were right there too. You're not the asshole, but be careful what you do next because it might end sourly if you bring it up poorly or if you get petty about it. Petty's never the answer until it is. Our next one's from Crafty Firefly. Am I the asshole for not contributing to staff gifts and calling out my colleague for taking full credit? So here's the deal. Ever since I, 29, started this job, it's an office job, there's one person, she's 56, that arranges an annual staff Christmas gift where they ask everyone to contribute $30 total per person toward gifts for the 3 top executives. Why are you buying gifts for executives, man? They're probably making 6 digits. Why are you buying them shit? In the last 2 years that we've done this, the 3 people in management who have been given the gifts have gone down to our office and thanked that one person profusely for her generosity and how sweet she was to do this, etc. Last year, I asked her if she gave something from just her as well, and if that's why they thanked only her. She said no, but since she was the one who handed the gift baskets to them and wrote the card, there's 3 others, including me, who built the actual baskets. She just insisted on doing the card. They may be misunderstood. Note that she always does this thing first in the morning, and they will take the basket from our office and go up by herself, regardless if people say they'd like to join her and just say she forgot they wanted to come with. I butchered reading that, but she likes to take the gift up by herself to the executive. Is she just taking full credit for this? Come on now. Well, I checked with one of the assistants because I'm petty. Hey, at least you owned up to it, right? The assistant told me that while the card said that it was from the staff, it did say name of the lady and the rest of the staff, and that the same thing had happened the year before. Okay. If you're signing your name on it, and you're signing your name first and then the staff, so RatherSlack and the staff, it very much seems like you're the one orchestrating it. You gave the gift and they chimed in a little with it. That's, what's the word I'm looking for? That's sly. Here's where I may have been a bit of an asshole. This year, the lady once again sent out an email asking everyone to contribute a minimum of $30 per person for these 3 people. One of the owners retired earlier in the year, but she felt he'd still really appreciate a gift. I answered the email and said, "Dear name, thank you for reaching out regarding this. I have given a lot of thought to this throughout the year and have decided to organize my own gift this year instead with a smaller amount. It's been a tough year financially for me and many others. Perhaps you can edit last year's card to say, love from her name and the rest of the staff except for my name. Thank you and happy holidays." Oh, I love it there. That little tidbit at the end. This right there, that's petty. I love it. Just putting in that little bit right there to show that you're aware. Maybe they won't even pick up on it. Sometimes people are just oblivious as shit. About 5 minutes after I sent the email, she came storming over. Okay, she's not oblivious. She figured it out. She's not oblivious. And told me that I had no right to accuse her of taking credit for the gifts and not including everyone's name. I asked if it was untrue that that's what her card said last year. And to which she answered that's how she's always written the card. Apparently, she's currently scrambling because a lot of the other staff members are choosing not to join her gift this year. And her friend, 60, has told me that it was super petty and not very much in the spirit of Christmas of me to ruin the gift to management this year. While grumbling about how selfish I and the other younger staff members are who don't want to contribute to the gift. So Reddit, am I the asshole in this situation? You a little bit of a dick, but you're not an asshole. Edit to add, clarification that the minimum sum was $10 per gift, which is $30 in total for each staff member. Sorry if that was unclear. English is not my first language as much as I feel like I'm fluent. Also, thank you to everyone who answered so far. I definitely did not realize that this was a common practice, as I was told it was. Is it common to... Oh shit, you know what? I'm thinking about it. They do that at my job too. Oh. I don't contribute to buy an executive money, but the office buys the owner a gift, I'm pretty sure, now that I think about it. Why the fuck do we buy rich people gifts? Can we universally decide that executives don't need gifts from people that make fractions of the amount that they do? If you make a quarter of the amount that your executive does or less, you shouldn't buy them a gift. They should buy you a damn gift. You making them money? I'm sorry, I'm getting off on a tangent. Sorry, we'll reel it back to the Reddit. No, I don't think... What was your name? Oh, God. Firefly, I think you're a little petty. Sure. Was it a dick move? Probably. I don't think you're an asshole, though. I think it's a bit much for them to expect you to buy a gift and then doing that little manipulation / bullshit of not adding everyone's name to that card. and then just doing like from Patricia and the staff. I don't know why I'm going with Patricia's her name, but going with Patty and the staff isn't very fair. I mean, why would she think this is fair? No, fuck her. You're fine. You're not an asshole. You're petty, but I kind of like it. You're good. A Fistocat. Why are you guys getting your executives gifts at all? That was exactly my point a moment ago. Why are we buying rich people stuff? Buy my shirts, not rich people shit. I'm broke as hell. Get yourself a Slack shirt. Response from Firefly. This is a good question, actually, and one I asked when I started at the company. I'm not from this country originally. In my country, the company gave a gift to the employees. Yes, that's the proper thing to do. It's because we're all ass backwards in America, man. The fuck you say? America, fuck yeah. Not the other way around. I was told that it's very common for employees to gift their managers in Canada. And truthfully, I never thought to question it until reading all these comments. Well, now I'm not giving a gift at all. Saves me the money. Hell yeah, Firefly. Save your money. The world's hard as shit. Save that stuff. Anyway, Firefly, you're not the asshole. You're good. The next story is brought to us by Tip Top Potato Wedges. I like the name. Am I the asshole for telling my friends that it's not my problem they can't afford things? We'll find out, though. I'll read the story before we cast our judgment. But so far, it's, looking for some outside opinions on this instead of just hearing from people involved. I, 33, Australia, and my group of friends have been friends since high school. Once we graduated, many of my friends opted to skip a further education to instead work a job in the trade or dropped out and worked in a warehouse/factory. Some still don't have full-time jobs and just job hop between part-time work. Nothing against those jobs, but they were looking for an easy living and didn't want to spend more time in school. To be honest, I don't know if job hopping is exactly easy living. You're not making much money and you're floating paycheck to paycheck. Sure, further education might get you a better pay, but not always. I opted to go through university, while at the same time I got lucky enough to work in the industry I was studying in. This helped me get a head start in my career, so when I graduated, I already had more experience than the average graduate. It also meant that I was waking up at 5 a.m. every day for work and then going to university after and getting home 9 to 10 p.m. every day. Dude, I'll give it to you. You're hustling. That's a long day. I get up around 5 for work myself, but I get home at 5 p.m. So you got a couple hours more than I do, but sometimes I edit a video. Like YouTube's a job. Once I graduated and started working, I got a well-paying job, $80K annually. That's pretty good. This was immediately more than what all my friends were earning, and I immediately started hearing how I just got lucky with the job, completely ignoring the years of hard work I had already put in. Young me was just proud to show off my hard work to my friends, so I made the mistake of telling them my wage. In the US, we're told not to speak to our colleagues about our pay. In some cases, I agree with that. In some cases, I don't. In this case, I probably wouldn't agree with it because you're just kind of, I understand that you're proud, but to them, it's going to come off as gloating. That never works well in anyone's favor. Everyone always gets jealous, you know?
To be fair, people get jealous whether you say something or not.
Over the years, the comments died down, so I wasn't bothered by them too much anymore. Fast forward to last week, I had my friends come over to my newly built home. As of today, I am single, no children or pets, and have drastically increased my wage, while also getting new certifications to keep up with my industry. I'm able to afford a lot of things without struggling, and I do consider myself fortunate. Hey, I'm proud of you, man. I don't even know you, Potato Wedges, but I'm proud of you. You put in the work. This was the first time my friends had seen the new house, and the comments started up again. How I'm able to afford a big new house, how I'm lucky, how all I do is sit around all day and get paid lots, and so on and so forth. I wanted to show my new achievement of the house off, but it made me sour. The comments wouldn't stop, so I snapped, telling them it's not my fault they were too lazy to try and make anything of themselves. And if they put in any level of effort, they wouldn't have had to struggle to go out or buy things for themselves, or to keep working low-paying jobs. Even to this day, I'm still working and studying to get ahead, but they've all barely changed jobs in the last 10 plus years. A couple of my friends left because they were angry. A few others stayed and understood. They weren't making the comments. Things have been quiet in the group chats, and plans for Christmas and New Year's Eve are up in the air. I'm thinking of apologizing to keep the peace, but one of my friends is suggesting I wait to see if they apologize. Am I the asshole? It's not your fault that your friends aren't capable. I'm not saying they're incapable humans, but if they don't have the drive to push themselves to either get an education or just seek better employment through whatever means, generally it comes with some kind of experience or education, not necessarily a school education, but whether you're learning on the job or not. Some trades do pay well. I think they're being very petty about this. I work in the trades, work in a fabrication shop. I don't make that much money. I'm pretty much topped out on where I am. So I feel like I'm probably coming from the viewpoint of one of your friends, if anything. You did everything right. You played your cards right, and you got a royal flush. You got what you needed. They didn't even play the game. So they're just sitting on the sidelines bitching, and it's really annoying. Everyone does it. Everyone's got a vent about stuff. But when people do it, and then they do absolutely nothing to change their situation, man, that's frustrating to the point where I just ignore them, because it's not my responsibility to fix their situation, and it's not yours to fix your friend's situation. Are they just gonna bitch about it till they're 90 years old? I don't know. Maybe, probably. Everyone in the US does. It doesn't matter if you make $1 million a year, or if you make 100 grand a year, or if you make 50 or 25 grand a year. Whoever is one step down below you financially, 90% of the time is going to be jealous and pissed off at you and think you're lazy, that you don't deserve it, or some shit like that. There's a lot of punching down, but there's punching up as well, and everybody just be punching everyone, alright? We're going to the comments. Sassy Pants 2306. Not the asshole, but you handled yourself poorly. You should not have made any of the comments about them or their life choices. You should have responded with something like, hey man, you know, I also worked my ass off studying and getting good at my job. Yeah? Please don't discredit all my hard work and putting it purely on luck. Yeah? Kind of hurtful much? Yeah. Sorry, I added in the last yeah. They would have floundered then, as there's no way out of them looking like an asshat, and you gave them nothing to complain about in return. I don't know why, Sassy Pants, I find your... Maybe it's the way I read it, but your comment to them, I don't know. It didn't hit that hard to me, personally. Sorry. Potato probably didn't really present that in the best way. Potato's feelings are totally justified. And kind of harping back to my whole tangent, it's not fair for people to get pissed at someone else who did well because they played their cards right. But they do it anyway. It's hypocritical and it makes no sense, but people do it anyway. Probably should have just kept maybe any financial information to yourself. However, I don't think you're the asshole. I don't. Creepy Werewolf 4914. Am I the asshole for making my son cry? Yep. We'll read it first, but that's a hell of a title, dude. If you're gonna come out swinging like that, it's... Oh. Am I an asshole for making them cry? In any situation just sounds bad. I, 47, have a son, 14, from a previous marriage to my late wife. She passed 2 years ago, and for my son, the wound is still very fresh. My son and her were very close, as they look exactly alike and had a lot of the same interest in reading, history, and art. Their favorite place in the world is the British Museum in London. Their passion project has been redrawing pieces from the museum for the last 2 years before. For the last 4 years of my wife's birthday in June and my son's birthday in December, we go to England for a week so they can spend time in a museum. However, since she died, my son and I have continued going for his birthday. That sounds great so far. You're keeping that little tradition going. I think your son will really appreciate that because it's something he did with his mom. It's some form of connection in some way, you know? The problem is with my new wife. Oh. It seemed like it was starting so good, and I feel like it's going to take such a bad turn. She's only been with us on this annual trip once last year, and she complained the whole time. Now, however, we recently found out we are expecting a child together in May. Oh god, that's really gonna gum up the works. She raised it to my attention that the money I've used for the trip could be better used to be saved for the baby, and we can instead do something else for my son's birthday. I thought about it, and I agreed. I was worried how he'd take it, as this is the only thing he wants for his birthday. He doesn't ask for gifts, or cake, or a party. All he cares about is this goddamn museum. Based off of the last sentence in that paragraph, it almost comes across like you're irritated. about the museum and your son wanting this, I'll read the last thing. We broke the news to my son yesterday and he flipped out. He was so upset, and when my wife tried to tell him why we were saving the money and where the money was going to, he said he didn't give a damn, and we got into an argument about it. He said he was upset because if he didn't go this year, he'd miss the new exhibit he'd been wanting to see, and he accused my wife of doing this on purpose because she already doesn't like me, he said. I admit, I yelled at him and he started crying, and for the last 24 hours, he hasn't spoken to me. Am I the asshole? You're the asshole. You're a huge asshole, man. You are a big asshole. You're a big asshole. You're a big old dude. Just a big, old, huge, humongous dude. This is a tradition at this point for your son that went with his mom to England to do this. I feel like in some ways he's keeping the memory of her alive, and it's kind of his like last connection maybe to her. Maybe I'm overreading it. However, that's how it comes across to me, even with how you presented the information. I totally get that you're having a new kid as well. That sounds terrible, a new kid. That you're having a second kid. You have a 14-year-old son who I assume that is your biological son. So you've spent over 14 years, you spent all this time being his father and growing up, and within 2 years of the mom passing, you've already replaced her. You're already tearing away traditions. You're already replacing him as a child. You're moving on. You're moving on in every way.
This isn't always bad, but the son in this context may still be grieving, and seeing his father moving on so quickly could cause some resentment. Also, I'm editing and drinking Dr. Pepper, and it's delicious. Merry Christmas.
That is probably hurting the son, to be honest. He probably is still stuck in the turmoil, and all he sees is his dad getting new things and moving on. Which, I'm not saying you're in the wrong, but I think maybe you need to step back and realize that your son's not doing mentally as well as maybe you thought, or is doing worse than you thought. The new wife, having come into the situation, needs to be way more open to the son and understand these things. I don't know where her mindset's at with it. I get that she's probably focused on having this kid, so she's probably a little bit tunnel vision with that stuff. You're possibly gonna lose your son for the rest of your life, to be honest. Things get sour with death, divorces, certain things like that, bringing new people into the family and stuff like that, especially during a teenager's life. I'm sure it's hard as someone like under the age of 12 or 10 as well. We'll go down in the comments. I'm a little salty about this one just because I feel like I get where the son's coming from. This guy has left him in bullet points, which I love. It kind of summarizes it even more. Your shiny new wife chose to act worse than a whiny toddler and ruined a trip that was meant for a child on their birthday as a memory for his mother. You allowed this woman to make your son feel terrible in his favorite place in the world on his birthday. You allowed this woman to take one thing your child has ever wanted, to shift it over to something that has nothing to do with your son for his birthday. You yelled at your son for reacting badly to being shoved aside for your new family. You allowed your new wife to mistreat your son, not even bothering to raise any questions at, she hates me at all? Of course, you're the asshole. Crocodile's bra milk? That's a hell of a name. I totally agree. By Heather Ann. Exactly, OP. You are the asshole. No question about that. But do you know who is an even bigger asshole? Your new wife. Her behavior is appalling, and you are enabling it. Well, based on all the comments, and of course my decision, which is the most important decision of them all, Creepy Werewolf, I'm sorry, man. You're an asshole. I'm not even sorry. You're just an asshole. Go apologize to your son. Sorry, that's what you need to do. Why am I saying sorry? We're gonna end it off on that one, because that one made me salty. Werewolf, your butthole, man. If you guys have any good stories, let me know down in the comments, or join the Discord. You can upload them there if you want. If you guys enjoyed the video, like, comment, subscribe, do all those fun things. It helps out the channel a ton, and I really appreciate it, and I'll see you guys soon. Bye.